Okay, welcome back, guys. And if you're just tuning in on YouTube, welcome in. We're doing the TryHackMe Advent of Code Day 10 now, and thank you guys so much for tuning in with me. We're gonna be doing this, here in a bit. We're actually doing some, as a sequel injection. For those of you who are just tuning in. So anyways, still worn out. Still worn out. Had a long day preparing the thing. I don't think I'm going to do the movie again anytime soon. The movie was alright. It's a shame nobody came by to watch it though. It's a shame nobody ever came by to watch the movie though. So I don't think we're going to do a Twitch Amazon Prime watch party anytime soon, but I will be I'll be streaming Santa versus what was it? Santa versus hell, I don't even remember the name of the movie. I know it is in the public domain, so I can stream it. So welcome everyone just tuning in. I'm gonna go ahead and get everything set up for Advent of Cyber. 6:30 now, so let's go ahead and do all this. Alright, now we're gonna go ahead and log into... We're gonna start up the VPN real quick. Oh look, I hit the top 2300 on TryHackMe. Nice. Okay, we're gonna go ahead and get started with this. We got the Day 10 story. The Best Festival Company started receiving many reports that their website, bestfestival.thm, is displaying some concerning information about the state of Christmas this year. After looking into the matter, Santa's Security Operations Center, SOC, confirmed that the company website has been hijacked and ultimately defaced, causing significant reputational damage. To make matters worse, the web development team has been locked out of the web server as the user credentials have been changed. With no other way to revert the changes, Elf Exploit McRed has been tasked with attempting to hack back into the server to regain access. After conducting some initial research, Elf Forensic McBlue came across a forum post made on the popular Black Hat hacking internet forum Jingle Hats. The post, made earlier in the month, explains that the poster is auctioning off several active vulnerabilities related to the Best Festival Company systems. Okay, so this forum post certainly explains the havoc that has gone on over the past week. Armed with this knowledge, Elf Exploit McRed began testing the company website from the outside to find the vulnerable components that led to the server compromise. As a result of McRed's thorough investigation, the team now suspects a possible SQL injection vulnerability. So let's see, we got the learning objectives. In today's task, we will learn to understand and identify SQL injection vulnerabilities, exploit stacked queries to turn SQL injection into remote code execution, and help Elf McRed restore the Best Festival website and save its reputation. Before moving forward, let's check the connection card. Do we need to start the attack box today? Yes, but I haven't decided if I'm going to use it or not. Do we need to start the VM? Yes, we do, which we've already done. Given that the attached VM requires several services to utilize, it's a good idea to start the machine now, which you can do by clicking the Start Machine button in the top right corner. Allow at least 5 minutes for the machine to fully deploy before interacting with it, which is why we've gone ahead and started it up now. So yeah, we can use either the attack box or a VM with the VPN connection. We will receive further instructions on accessing the website, the Best Festival website, after a brief refresher on SQL and SQL injection. SQL, or Structured Query Language, or SQL, is essential for working with relational databases and building dynamic websites. Even if you've never explicitly used SQL before, chances are you frequently interact with the databases. Whether you're checking your bank account balance online, browsing through products on an e-commerce site, or posting a status on social media, you're indirectly querying and altering databases. SQL is one of the most popular languages that make this all possible. Relational databases are structured data collection organized into tables, each consisting various rows and columns. Within these collections, tables are interconnected with predefined relationships, facilitating efficient data organization and retrieval. For example, an e-commerce website, an e-commerce relational database might include tables for customers, orders, and products, with relationships defined to link consumer information to their respective orders through the use of identifiers. Customers, orders, and products. SQL provides a rigid way to query, insert, update, or delete the data stored in these tables, allowing you to retrieve and alter databases as needed. A website or application that relies on a database must dynamically generate SQL queries and send them to the database engine to fetch or update the necessary data. The syntax of SQL queries is based on English and consists of structured commands using keywords like select, from, where, and join to express operations in a natural language-like way. We will leverage an example of a database table to represent the tracking and cataloging of the Christmas tree ornaments. The table and column structure might look something like this. You can see the ornament ID, elf ID, color, category, material, date created, and price. And all the information within these columns. In the simple example above, we have defined a database table, table ornaments, to store ornaments with various columns that provide characteristics and qualities related to each item. We can run various SQL queries against this table to retrieve, update, or delete specific data, which you can see in this query right here. The select statement returns all columns for the ornaments where the material is specified as wood. We're gonna get to that, I'm sure. We're just now reading through all this. Interesting. Maybe use Cool or Ferox Buster or something with the sec list. I'm sure we'll get to that point where we're going through the directories of this website in due time. Anyway, the select statement will return all the ornaments created by the elf with the ID 102. Unlike the first statement, this query only returns the ornament's ID, color, and category. And the insert statement adds a new ornament, the table, created by the elf with the ID 105 and the specified values for each column. PHP is a popular general-purpose scripting language that plays a crucial role in website development. It enables developers to create dynamic and interactive websites by generating HTML content on the server and delivering it to the client's web browser. PHP's versatility and seamless integration with SQL databases make it a powerful tool for building feature-rich dynamic web applications. PHP is a server-side scripting language, meaning that the code is executed on the web server before the final HTML is sent to the user's browser. Unlike client-side technologies like HTML, CSS, and JavaScript, PHP allows developers to perform various server-side tasks, such as connecting to a wide range of databases, such as MySQL, PostgreSQL, and Microsoft SQL Server, executing SQL queries, processing form data, and dynamically generating web content. So there's a bit of a diagram right here. MySQL, obtain data, web server, dynamic page, web browser, web page request, PHP file, web server, so on. The most common way for PHP to connect to SQL databases is using the PHP Data Objects PDO extension or specific database server drivers such as MySQLi for MySQL or SQL SRV for Microsoft SQL Server or MS SQL. Yeah, we're just getting into learning a bit about the basic SQL language in this room. We're kind of getting a bit of a refresher here. Okay, so the connection is typically established by providing parameters such as the host, username, and password, and database name. After establishing a database connection, we can execute SQL queries through PHP and dynamically generating HTML content based on the return data to display information such as user profiles, product listings, or blog articles. Yeah, kind of am. I've been learning about all this stuff on TryHackMe for about a year now. So, it takes me a while to fully learn and grasp everything, but I mean, that's all we can really do, is we're always learning. Indeed. Returning to our example, if we want our PHP script to fetch information regarding any green colored ornaments, we can introduce these lines right here, which I will point and highlight. There we go. Just learning you're new to the domain too. That's awesome. In the above snippet, we first save our SQL query into a variable named yeah, that'll work. So we first save our SQL query into a variable named $query. This query instructs the database to retrieve all rows from the table ornaments table, or TBL_ornaments table, where the color column is set to green. We then use the SQL SRE underscore query function to execute this query by passing it to a database connection object $con with 2 n's. You can think of the result variable as a container that holds the outcome of the SQL query, allowing you to iterate through the rows and access the data within these rows. Later in the script, you can use the result object to fetch and display data, making it a crucial part of the process when working with databases in PHP. While the ability to execute SQL queries in PHP allows us to interact with our databases, the real power of database-driven web applications lies in making these queries dynamic. In our previous example, we hard-coded the query to fetch green ornaments. However, real-world applications require users to interact with the data. For instance, let's imagine we want to provide users with the ability to search for ornaments of their choice. In this case, we need to create dynamic queries that can be adjusted based on user input. One common way to take in user-supplied data in web applications is through get parameters. These parameters are typically appended to the URL and can be accessed by PHP. They allow users to specify their search criteria or input, making it a valuable tool for interactive web applications. We could create a simple search form with an input field for users to specify the color of ornaments they want. Upon submitting this form, the website makes a GET request to the search results page, including the user's search parameters within the URL. PHP can access the user's input as a GET parameter and dynamically generate a query based on that input. Now, the above snippet sets the $color variable to the retrieved value of the color URL parameter. That variable then gets passed into the query string. Now users can dynamically control the query being executed by the database simply by modifying the user parameter they include in their request. In this example, right here, which you can read, which is pretty interesting. So this simple example shows how powerful PHP and SQL can be in creating rich, dynamic websites. Taking in user-supplied input gives us powerful ways to create dynamic content, but failing to secure this input correctly can expose a critical vulnerability known as a SQL injection, or SQLI. A SQL injection is an attack technique that exploits how web applications handle user input, particularly SQL queries. Instead of providing legitimate input, like the ornament color in the example above, the attacker injects malicious SQL statements into a web application's input fields or parameters. The application's database server then executes this rogue SQL query. SQL injection vulnerabilities pose a considerable risk to web applications as they can lead to unauthorized access, data theft, data manipulation, or even complete compromise of a web application and its underlying database through remote code execution. If an attacker can control which queries the database executes, they can control the database functions performed and the data returned. As such, the impact can be catastrophic, ranging from exposing sensitive user information to causing significant data breaches. SQL injection vulnerabilities continue to be highly pervasive despite numerous advancements to mitigate them. Pretty much. This type of vulnerability is featured prominently in the OWASP Top 10 list of critical web application security risks. Which you guys can Google OWASP Top 10 and you'll see the list. When a web application incorporates user input into SQL queries without proper validation and sanitation, it opens the door to SQL injection. For example, consider our previous PHP code for fetching user input to search for ornament colors. Without adequate security measures, an attacker can manipulate this color parameter to execute malicious SQL queries. For instance, instead of searching for a benign color, they might input this command right here, which is basically quote or like quote mark or 1 = 1 tac is the parameter input parameter, and it would transform the query into this. As the query above shows, the attacker injected the malicious payload into the dynamic query. So let's take a look at the payload in more detail. Quote OR is part of the injected code, where OR is a logical operator in SQL that allows for multiple conditions. In this case, the injected code appends a secondary where condition in the query. 1 equals 1 is the condition following the OR operator. The condition is always true because in SQL, 1 equals 1 is a simple equality check where the left and right sides are equal. Since 1 always equals 1, this condition always evaluates to true. The tac at the end of the input is a comment in SQL. It tells the database server to ignore everything that comes after it. Ending with the comment is crucial for the attacker because it nullifies the rest of the query and ensures that any additional conditions or syntax in the original query are effectively ignored. The condition color equals quote unquote single quote is empty. And the OR 1 equals 1 condition is always true, effectively making the where condition true for every row on the in the table. You guys look at this diagram right here. As a result, the SQL injection successfully manipulates the query to return all rows from the table underscore ornaments. Interesting. Returns to the to return all rows from the table underscore ornaments table, regardless of the actual ornament color values. It's sharp instead of tac. Sometimes interesting. This is a classic example of an SQL injection payload where the attacker leverages the OR 1 equals 1 condition to bypass any intended conditions or logic in the query, and the retrieved data they are not supposed to access. Caution around OR 1 equals 1. It's crucial to emphasize the potential risks of using the OR 1 equals 1 payload. While commonly used for illustration, injecting it without caution can lead to unintended havoc on the database. When injecting OR 1 equals 1 into a query, the intention is typically to bypass authentication or to return all items to a table, making the condition always true. However, the risks lie in that you might not be aware of the context and scope of the query you're injecting to. Additionally, applications may sometimes use values from an initial request in multiple SQL queries. SQL injection payloads that return all rows can lead to unintended consequences when injected into different types of statements, such as update or delete. Imagine injecting it into a query that updates a specific user's information. An or 1 equals 1 payload would make the condition true for every row, leading to a mass update affecting all records in or users in the table. This lack of specificity in the payload makes it a risky choice for pen testers who might inadvertently cause significant data loss or alterations. A safer example would be a more targeted condition based on a known attribute identifying the record you want to manipulate. For example, Bob quote mark and 1 equals 1 tac would update Bob's record, while Bob quote mark and 1 equals 2 tac would not. This still demonstrates the SQL injection vulnerability without putting the entire table's records at risk. Fortunately, the development team behind the Best Festival website has confirmed that the website does not run any unpredictable queries and has permitted us to use this payload to demonstrate this vulnerability. SQL injection attacks can come in various forms. A technique that often gives an attacker... Don't call me Yoroshi. God dang it. They're simping for me, guys. They're simping for me. I don't... God dang it. Let me finish reading this. SQL injection attacks can come in various forms. A technique that often gives an attacker a lot of control is known as a stacked query. Stacked queries enable attackers to terminate the intended query or the original query and execute additional SQL statements in a single injection, possibly leading to more severe consequences such as data modification and calls to stored procedures or functions. In SQL, the semicolon typically signifies one statement conclusion and another's commencement. This feature facilitates the execution of multiple SQL statements within a single interaction with the database server. I'm gonna switch over to Twitch. I will see you over there.
I'm a melting pot of friendship. I'm a nice guy.
MSEC, how's it going? How's it going, MSEC? Let me go ahead and give you a shout out real quick. I never posted on Twitter. Dang it, I never posted on Twitter. I completely forgot. Let's give a shout out to MSEC real quick. I don't even know if I have any mods here. Like, not gonna lie, I never have any mods here for some reason. Y'all just went away. Never the mod for me again. Let me give you a shout out real quick, MSEC. Captain Kira, can you give a shout out to MSEC, please? Do an exclamation point SO MSEC and type in / shoutout MSEC as well. What's up, guys? How's it going? Hang on. I got you, MSEC.
That was nice. That was very nice. Nice. Nice, 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 nice.
Ooh, you were playing... Wait, hold on. Let me read the chat. You were doing day 9 and 10? Ooh. Nice. How was that? How were the rooms? You like today's? Yeah, today's is pretty good. I'm enjoying today's, I'm definitely enjoying, today's room for sure. And I haven't even gotten to do the tasks yet. I'm just reading through it. But yeah, I'm glad to hear you're having a fun stream today, MSEC. Y'all just reminded me I need to post on Twitter. There we go. Y'all just reminded me I needed to post this stream on Twitter. Yeah, there isn't a lot of reading. Like a crap ton of reading. Who just followed? Cypher Enigma, thank you for the follow. Ooh, I think I know you from Theo's stream. Yeah, I think I know you from Theo's stream, Cypher Enigma. How's it going? Good to see ya. Yeah, there's a crap ton of reading to do on, in this room, so I'm glad I didn't schedule the other YouTube stream. Okay, so where did I read? Okay. So we're still reading over through all of this, and hopefully we'll get to finally do some SQL injection. In SQL, the semicolon... Yeah, I'm still doing a bit of reading, guys, so after this we'll finally get to the good stuff. So, in its SQL, the semicolon typically signifies one statement conclusion and the other's commencement with the... This feature facilitates the execution of multiple SQL statements within a single interaction with the database server. It's important to note that certain web application technologies and database management systems, DBMS, may demand different syntax or lack support for stacked queries. Consequently, enumeration is essential for precision and when conducting SQL injection attacks. By the way, you guys are welcome to join my Discord and my Mastodon and my Twitter accounts. Suppose our attacker in the previous example wants to go beyond just retrieving all rows and intends to insert some malicious data into the database. They can modify the previous injection payload to this payload, this right here, which I'll highlight that part for you guys so y'all can read it. When the web application processes this input, here's the resulting query the database would execute. Right here. As a result, the attacker successfully ends the original query using a semicolon and introduces an additional SQL statement to insert malicious data into the table ornaments table. This showcases the potential impact of stacked queries, allowing attackers not only to manipulate the retrieved data, but also perform permanent data modification. Testing for SQL injection is a... How's it going, Captain Kira? Is a critical aspect of web application security assessment. It involves probing the application to identify vulnerabilities where an attacker can manipulate user-supplied input to execute unauthorized SQL queries. To continue our mission, let's navigate to the Deface Best Festival Company website to see if we can identify vulnerable input that leads to SQL injection. We've already clicked the Start Machine button and started up the VM, so we're going to go ahead and navigate to the website. Nope. There we go. Navigating the website as an end user to understand its functionalities and offerings is a great start. This manual enumeration allows us to identify the areas in the application where user input is accepted and used in SQL queries. This can include search fields, login forms, and any input fields that interact with a database. You might need to navigate to the correct page containing the vulnerable component, so be sure to click on any buttons or links you find. Browse the website manually until you find the form that accepts user input and might be querying a database. After locating the gift search feature, we can confirm our suspicions by filling out the form with expected values. Let's go ahead and... well, obviously gift search would be... Obviously gift search. Oh, these are... Oh, they're painting them as evil elves. They're painting the elves as evil. Oh. Well, you know what? You know what? They're gonna get a surprise. They think that the elves are evil too. Yeah, they ain't seen evil yet. So, We'll go ahead and do this. $30 is our budget. We'll search. So after clicking search, the website redirects us to the results page, and we can identify some interesting URL query parameters by looking at the URL in our web browser. The underlying PHP code is taking in the 3 parameters we have specified for age, interests, and budgets, as separated by the AND character, and querying the database to retrieve the filtered results and output them into the page. Now that we have identified an area of the website where user input is accepted and used to generate dynamic SQL queries, we can test if it's vulnerable to any injection attack. To do this, we can alter the parameters to test how the application handles unexpected characters. To test the input fields, we can submit characters like single quotes and double quotes, as these are special characters that attackers use to manipulate SQL queries. We might be able to trigger error messages by introducing possible syntax errors in the query and prove that the input is unsanitized as it reaches the backend. However, the gift search feature doesn't offer any free-form text inputs for us to type and manipulate, so we can look at modifying the URL parameters directly to test the application. Database query errors. So what we're gonna do when you do this is alter the age parameter in the URL to include just a single quote and hint enter. And you saw an error message. Uh-oh. Ooh, okay. Oh, you're using a Chromebook? You're using a Chromebook? What? The error we received is a huge breakthrough, as it gives us so many details on the underlying database. On the underlying database management system powering this website, and confirms that the user input is unsanitized. This error message shows that Microsoft SQL Server is the database manager due to the banners and driver information in the square brackets. Yeah, Chromebooks are ew. I would rather I'd rather use a Windows machine than a Chromebook. Or a Mac over a Chromebook. Or Linux over a Chromebook. Maybe the Chromebook needs Linux installed. Wait, can you install Linux on Chromebooks? Like, do they have the storage for Linux? So the information we gathered will soon be helpful. Error message enumeration is critical to SQL injection testing because it equips attackers with valuable information for crafting more precise and effective payloads. Because of this, it's always essential to monitor and sanitize error messages to prevent sensitive information from leaking. Although we don't have access to the source code, at this point we can visualize what the underlying PHP script might look like. Got age, get age, interest, get interest, budget, get budget, and the SQL being select name from gifts where age equals age and interest equals interest and budget equals budget. So as seen above, the script is likely extracting values from the URL parameters in an unsanitized way, directly inserting them into the SQL query to be executed. If we break out of the hard-coded query by injecting our own SQL syntax, we can manipulate the request and consequently the returned data. Let's attempt to leverage the SQL injection payload from earlier to inject our own condition on the gift search feature that will always evaluate to true. By injecting our payload and commenting out the rest of the query, we can bypass the intended filter and avoid errors to retrieve all gift results, regardless of the specified parameters. So let's do that. We just keep age equals or 1 equals 1 tac and wow, that's a lot of stuff. There's a flag too. So we've successfully dumped the database table and returned all 636 rows to the page. This is a very simple example and suitable proof of concept that this website is vulnerable to SQL injection. However, it's unlikely that the attacker who defaced the best specifiable company did so by returning gift results. Let's explore possible methods to execute system commands via our newly found attack vector. As mentioned, stacked queries can be used to call stored procedures or functions within a database management system. You can think of stored procedures as extended functions offered by certain database systems, serving various purposes such as enhancing performance and security, encapsulating complex database logic. A Microsoft server stored procedure xb underscore command cmd shell or command shell is a specific command that allows for executing operating system calls. If we can exploit a stacked query to call a stored procedure, we might be able to run operating system calls and obtain remote code execution. As we previously confirmed, the database system in our example is Microsoft SQL Server. With that in mind, let's dive deeper into the XP command shell procedure. XP underscore CMD shell, or we'll just call it Microsoft XP command shell, is a system extended stored procedure in Microsoft SQL Server that enables the execution of operating system commands and programs from within SQL Server. It provides a mechanism for SQL Server to interact directly with the host operating system's command shell. While it can be a powerful administrative tool, it can also be a security risk if not used cautiously when enabled. Because of the known risks involved, it is recommended that this functionality is disabled on production servers and is by default. However, due to misconfigurations and legacy applications that require it, it's common to see it enabled in the wild. For example, suppose you have an HR management system that needs to export data periodically to a CSV file and upload it to an external server. Instead of using more secure and modern methods like SQL Server integration services or custom application code, legacy applications may have been opted to rely on XP command shell to execute system-level commands to export the data. While this accomplishes the same task, it poses security and maintainability risks and grants excessive system access to the SQL Server. It is also possible to manually enable XP command shell in SQL Server through exec queries. Still, it requires the database user to be a member of the sysadmin fixed server role or have the alter settings server level permission to execute this command. However, as previously mentioned, the misconfigurations that also allow this execution are not too uncommon. We can attempt to enable XP's command shell on the best festival company database by stacking the following commands using the SQL injection we discovered. By injecting these commands right here, and we'll do that in a bit. By injecting the above statements into SQL Server, we'll first enable advanced configuration options in the SQL Server by setting show advanced options, by setting that to 1. We then apply the changes to the running configuration via the reconfigure statement, and next we enable the XP command shell procedure by setting XP command shell to 1 and applying the change to the running configuration again. Converting these into a single stacked SQLI payload will look like this. Let's do that. Let's do just that. And type all this out. Put command shell. Put it to 1. And reconfigure. Also need that. Okay, I believe this all should work. Let me look at this real quick. So that should be right. One semicolon. Should be right. And then we got reconfigure semicolon. Spec SP configure XP command shell. Comma 1 semicolon reconfigure. Copy this, and I don't like copying it, but returns no search results. Okay, it's not gonna return the output to us, that's fine. So by requesting the URL but with these parameters, we should be able to execute the stacked queries and enable the XP underscore CMD shell procedure. With this feature enabled, we can execute any Windows shell command using the execute or exec statement followed by the command name. Unfortunately, one of the caveats to this approach is that it returns its results in a row of text. This means that typically the output will never be returned sent to the user, since the injection no longer occurs in the original intended query. Because of this, we are often in the dark as to whether our injection worked. But there are ways to validate whether our approach is our approach is working. Let's confirm if we have remote code execution as the remote user, the Best Festival Company web server. by initiating a connection back to our attack box or VM, which we are listening for. You can think of a reverse shell as the remote. Wait. Did I skip? Damn it. You're distracting me. Alright, so let's confirm that this, that we have remote code execution by attempting to execute search util on the target machine. This command is a native Windows command line program installed as part of certificate services. It's handy in engagements because it is a binary signed by Microsoft and allows us to make HTTP/S connections. In our scenario, we can use it to make an HTTP request or download a file from a web server that we control to confirm that the command was executed. To set this up, let's create a malicious payload using MSF Venom, allowing us to eventually upgrade our SQL injected shell into a more standard reverse shell. You can think of a reverse shell as the remote computer, the best festival web server, by initiating a connection back to our attack box, which we are listening for. How's it going, Plastic, for you? Welcome, welcome. Once the connection is established, we can gain control of the remote system and interact with the target machine directly. This is the opposite of a Thank you for the follow, Pearls. Per 1Z. GDY distro? What? Why distro? Are you asking about the distro I'm using? Parrot OS? How's it going, by the way? So, once our connection is established, English is not your native language? Ah, okay. Okay, where are you from? We welcome everybody. Brazil? Nice. Well, welcome Brazilian person. Thank you for tuning in. So once the connection is established, we can gain control of the remote system and interact with the target machine directly. This is opposite of a typical remote access scenario where the user is the client and the target machine is the server. MSF Venom is a command line payload generation tool it's part of the Metasploit framework, a widely used penetration testing ethical hacking set of utilities. MSF Venom is explicitly designed for payload generation and can be used to generate a Windows executable that, when executed, will make a reverse shell connection back to the attack box. we can run this command on a Kali machine or the attack box or whatever hacker virtual machine you're running. So we're gonna make a new directory, AOC 10, CD AOC 10, and we're gonna run MSF Venom, HackP, Windows, x64, shell, reverse, TCP. Our listening host being your attack box or VMIP if it's connected to the the Open VPN, and we're gonna use L port equals 4444 tech F and exe, and then tech O, and then we want to output this to reverse.exe. Now it's important to make sure you keep your lhost argument to your attack box IP address or your VM IP address, and you can find out that particular IP address by typing in ifconfig. And if you're running a VM connected to the OpenVPN VPN on TryHackMe, if you're even using bare metal hardware, you want to look for tun0. That's TUN0 when you type in ifconfig. It's hot in your country? Yeah, I understand that you're approaching summer now. You can also use the ifconfig command in here if you're using the attack box. Now, it takes a moment to generate the reverse shell executable, but once completed, you'll have created a reverse.exe Windows executable file that will establish a reverse TCP connection to your IP address over port 4444 when executed on the target. With our payload created, we can set up a quick HTTP server on our attack box to serve the file, in which case we're going to use Python 3 tech m http.server, and we'll have a server. If you can just use like port 80 if it's not being used. I always just never like change the port. I just keep it at default, and it just points back to port 8000, which is a valid HTTP port. So anyway, by running the command, we have a lightweight web server on port 8000, so we can use to serve our payload. All the files in the current directory, including reverse.exe, will be served using this method and will be accessible for the best specifiable servers to download. So it's time to use our stacked query to call XP underscore CMD shell and execute the cert util exe command on the target to download our payload. So let's do that right now. So let's run that. Exec CMD shell okay, XP underscore CMD shell. Then we want shell. Tech URL hash. Then F. Then we want the IP address. Then download the reverse.exe file. Next, we copy it. C, Windows, temp, reverse.exe. In quotes. Semicolon and tac. I'm hoping it worked. It did. Cool. So make sure the IP address is the attacking IP that has your reverse shell executable. That's very important. So the above SQL statement will call cert util to download the reverse.exe file from our Python to HTTP server and save it to the Windows temp directory for later use. After requesting the above URL to execute the stacked query, we should immediately know if we're successful by checking out the output of the server, which, as you can see, we had a GET request that was successful. So we've achieved remote code execution, and now we have our reverse shell payload on the target system. All we have to do now is set up a listener to catch the shell, and then we have the system execute the payload executable. To set up our listener, we can use the netcat utility on the attack box or VM to listen to port 4444. Exit out of this. We'll netcats. Nope. There we go. We'll do a netcat right there. Netcat's a versatile networking utility that can be used for reading from and writing to network connections. So we've pressed Control C in the terminal to close the HTTP server, or you can use open up another terminal window. But we've done that. We've pressed Control C and we've input the command nc tech lnvp 4444. Now we can run our one final stacked query to execute the reverse.exe file we've previously saved in the temp folder, window or C/Windows/temp directory. You're going to dinner? We'll have a good dinner. Thank you for the follow. So let's go ahead and request the file. We're going to use, of course, xp_command shell. And we're going to request the file temp reverse.exe. Make sure we have it all. We do. And we have a reverse shell. So after requesting the above URL, we returned to our Netcat listener terminal window, and we saw that we caught the shell and made the connection. So with that, we now have a reverse shell connection into the Festival web server we were previously locked out of. Now it's time to use our newfound access. And restore the defaced content. So now that we have gained access, gained interactive control over the web server, let's see if any clues might help us restore the site. So we're going to explore the system users directory. Let's type in dir. And yeah, good night, Per1Z, thank you. And hope to see you again soon. So, we're in C/users, that's a good place to start. The directory holds documents and information for each user profile on the system. It's also worth mentioning that another legacy misconfiguration has worked in our favor. Providing the SQL Server service account, we connected with administrator level permissions on the system. The higher level of access may provide us with capabilities that we need to investigate and rectify the issue. We navigated to the users directory, and we're going to explore the administrator directory and dir. So we'll search for subdirectories for hints and with files that can help guide us in restoring the website and saving the best festival company's reputation. So let's look. Dire 3D objects. Let's see here. 3D objects. Dire 3D. Dire. Actually, let's just search desktop. We don't have to search everything. Oh, I see something. No, don't open terminal. Notes.txt. I see another flag. I received your Bitcoin payment. Thanks again for a speedy transaction. After you gain access to the server, you can deface the website running the defacewebsite.bat script in desktop. Feel free to dump database deal whatever you want. If you need to reverse changes back to the original website for any reason, just run restore.bat. Not restore_website.bat from the same directory. Also, I shouldn't need to mention this, but please delete this note.txt file after defacing the website. Don't let this hack tie back to... Oh my gosh. Yep. Oh man. You're an idiot for not for not erasing the note. You're an idiot. Well, you know what? We're gonna run this. Restore website.bat. What we have? We have another flag. And we restored the website. So with Elf Exploit McRed's determination and cunning, the Best Festival Company's website was restored to its former glory. The joyful enchantment was woven back into the pages, and access to the server was regained. With your help, the team can now focus on completing the incident response process, ensuring that Christmas preparations are back on schedule, and investigating who was behind that mysterious forum post. To protect your applications and data from SQL attacks, considering following these coding best practices. Input validation, sanitize and validate all user-supplied input to ensure it adheres to expected data types and formats. Reject any input that doesn't meet validation criteria. Parameterized statements. Use prepared statements and parameterized queries into your database interactions. Parameterized queries automatically escape user input, making it difficult for attackers to inject malicious SQL. And stored procedures. Use stored procedures to encapsulate your SQL logic whenever possible. This reduces the risk of SQL injection by separating user input from SQL code. Cool. Well, guess I'm gonna copy this flag that we got at the end. We also got another flag that I'm gonna copy. We also had another flag. I'll get to that in a minute. Let me copy these. What? Oh. Gift, search gifts. Gift search. Right here. Doi. Let's see here. Copy this. No, oh yes, with that we copied. There we go. Took us an hour and a half to finish this room. There was a lot of reading, but it all worked out. And there's some links. I'm gonna terminate the machine. Whee! And yeah, guys, we will have an after-hours stream. This time I promise you guys an after-hours stream, by the way. Alright. So we got some links to share. If you enjoyed this task, feel free to check out the software security module. Right here, you should definitely check it out. I've done all the free rooms in this. I haven't done the VIP rooms, though. I need to. We also got lesson learned. That's a good one to try. I'll try this one like after the Advent of Cyber. This one looks fun. And of course, this one's important. Make sure you check out the top 10, the OWASP top 10. Broken access control, cryptographic failures, injection, which we just looked into, insecure design, security misconfiguration, all of that. You guys definitely need to check that out. Whew, that was a long one. That was a long one. Let me shut off the hack top. And what we're gonna do now is take a quick little break. Real quick. We're gonna take a break. Also, did we just hit 875 followers today? Did we just hit 875? My God, I think we did. Also, I don't know if you're in the Twitch chat. Let me see if you, let me see. White Knight, if you are still around, I hope that this, helped you out some. Oh my God. Oh my God. Okay. Before I take a break. Oh my God. Dude. What? Okay. As soon as I shut off the YouTube part of the Advent of Cyber stream, I'm gonna turn on, I'm gonna go over to Isa Vibe's stream, cause she's got a sound alert. I wanna play that sound alert on my stream as well. Well, I wanna see her reaction to it. We made sound. 16-bit Steven and I got together. We made like sound alerts. We collaborated on a sound alert for Isa Vibe. And she liked it. She laughed her butt off. So, yeah. Anyway, I'm gonna shut up the TryHackMe YouTube stream. We're gonna do Fortnite for a while. We're gonna do an after-hours stream here in a bit, too. For about maybe an hour or two. I don't know. And that'll be it. So, anyways, for those of you watching on YouTube, thank you for watching. Those of you watching on Twitch, stay tuned. We're getting a new link set up so that we can just do Fortnite. I'm trying to keep the TryHackMe stuff separate from the other stuff. You know? So anyway. Alright guys. I will see you guys in about... I'll see you guys in about 5 minutes. Give me some time to get a drink and react to Issa Vibe reacting to a splice we made. Yeah, no problem. No problem, clown. Feel free to drop a follow, and I'm gonna keep doing this until Christmas Eve. And I do have a 24-hour Christmas Eve stream planned. Thank you for the follow. And I hope you found this stream informative. Alright, so I'm gonna get the Fortnite stream set up on YouTube. Y'all are welcome to stay and hang out while I play Fortnite. But I will be back in about 5 minutes. So, y'all are watching on YouTube. Thank you for tuning in. And we're gonna move over to the other YouTube stream. And we're still on Twitch. So, y'all come hang out with me on Twitch.